I got a 0 on a project proposal in my class because I used the term biological women, which is apparently not allowed anymore. She even said it was a good project proposal, but I got a 0 because I used this term and it's exclusionary and not allowed anymore, so. And I 100% know that this is like the most biased grade ever because my project is about transgenders competing in biological women's sports. How am I supposed to do my final project if I can't use the word biological women? But that's what my project is about.
Comeuppance. Get their just desserts. Get their getting called up, because so many of these professors, especially in university, are wild lunatics that are more concerned with like indoctrinating their students than actually teaching them anything. And I think that even over the weekend, I think Matt Walsh tweeted something out like, "Oh, college is a scam." Something I disagree with, because there are still a lot of fields that require college education, rightfully so. But I think that the more nuanced take is many colleges, there are many issues with the university system, in particular in the United States, whether it's predatory student loans, whether it's woke professors injecting politics into every single little thing, whether it's weird race quotas and things like that for admissions, like we saw at Harvard. There are many, 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 many things wrong with the university system, but there are still many good things. And here you have woke professor forced to undergo free speech training after failing student who said, quote, biological woman. In a stunning turn of events, the University of Cincinnati has ruled against a woke professor and is making her go through educational training to further understand what free speech means. I can't even believe that I'm reading that sentence. I can't believe that in this year, the year of our Lord, 2023, I have just read out loud that a woke professor has now been forced to go to woke deprogramming. In a stunning turn of events, by the way, adjunct professor Melanie Rose Nipper gave a student, Olivia Kroslick, in her women's gender studies class, by the way, shouldn't even be a class. I'm sorry. Yeah, in women's gender studies class, when the student in a project about unfair advantages trans athletes have against biological women, that the student used the exclusionary term biological women. The student went viral on TikTok discussing the matter and had filed a complaint with the school. This is what we need, by the way, from the young generation, right? These young, in particular women, no, men have very little institutional power at this level. What we need is young women like Riley Gaines and this young woman and then that skater girl, I'm trying to remember what her name is. We need them to speak out because they still have a little bit of clout left. And I can support and retweet and like all the stuff you want, but it's just, if a man says these things, they're just like, oh, you're a bigot, you're whatever. So here's the original video of the student, which you may have seen in early June.
I got a 0 on a project proposal in my class because I used the term biological women, which is apparently not allowed anymore. She even said it was a good project proposal, but I got a 0 because I used this term and it's exclusionary.
So the entire purpose of her project, by the way, is to talk about the differences between biological, the advantages that biological men identifying as women have over biological women in sports. Therefore, like literally identifying the difference between a trans woman and a biological woman are in fact the point of the project.
And not allowed anymore, so. And I 100% know that this is like the most biased grade ever because my project is about transgenders competing in biological women's sports. How am I supposed to do my final project if I can't use the word biological women? But that's what my project is about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very good question. I think you need these students pushing back. Huge W. Leave a like for this young woman. Huge W. I think that like this is an era of teachers that are, a lot of these woke teachers are getting pushed out, and I think secondly, rightfully so, because you end up in a situation now where you have so many students that, their parents, for example, are really not pumped about paying $50,000 a year for their kid to get programmed into thinking people are birthing persons or whatever the case may be, right? $50K a year, $30K, $40K a year that their parents are co-signing. But it's still, Golly's professor seems nice. Once Olivia became a popular figure in the pro-woman conservative media, corporate media, content provider, the Cincinnati Enquirer, tracked down Melanie Rose Nipper. Nipper, faced with a complaint that Olivia's free speech is being compromised, wanted it known that she supports free speech, providing she agrees with the speech. Quote, although Nipper says she agrees that classrooms should be places for debate and discussion, that ends when you're intentionally or unintentionally participating in systemic harm. She said biological woman. I don't understand. What? Literally what? She said biological woman. What is I don't get it. What is that? How is that a systemic anything? Similar incidents have occurred in the past, says Nipper, who has taught at UC since 2021. When a student uses a outdated terminology, Nipper said she feels it's necessary to correct the mistake. So correcting the mistake meant giving her a 0 on her project. A 0. Now, in fairness, Nipper says she will happily regrade the project. It would just require Olivia using the words that the adjunct professor likes. As of this writing, it's unclear if the student will take her up on that. I wouldn't. I just want that teacher gone. I want that teacher gone. But, it's still a huge problem. You see this. Stanford University students forced to undergo free speech training after woke dean and law grads heckled Trump judge, says course was a joke. This was from just 2 days ago. Stanford University students have been forced to undergo free speech training after their woke dean and law grads heckled a Trump-appointed judge. Judge Kyle Duncan was ambushed by Associate Dean Tyrion Steinbach during a discussion in March as woke students clicked their fingers in support. The Washington Free Beacon reported earlier this week that as part of the efforts of the university to turn over a new leaf, they had students take part in the freedom of speech training session. The online training is said to have required little or no time at all. Well, it really shouldn't have if you think about it. It's like the butterfly meme. It's like, is this free speech? I mean, it's pretty easily determined. It's pretty easy to figure out if it is or isn't. One student told the Free Beacon, on the day of the training was due, I went to the link provided by the university, checked a box confirming I watched the videos, and that was the end of that matter. The whole process took 10 seconds. Well, yeah, because you didn't actually watch the videos. That's the thing. Like they actually have no interest in understanding free speech or any of that, right? The Free Beacon reported that students have been given 6 weeks to watch 5 pre-recorded videos, most about an hour long, and then asked to sign a form attesting that they had done so. The videos could be played on mute, and the forum could be accessed without opening the training, letting students tune out the modules or skip them entirely. On March 22nd, Stanford Law Dean Jenny Martinez issued a memorandum responding to the incident earlier this month. They wrote, "Enforcement of university policies against disruption of speakers is necessary to ensure the expression of a wide range of viewpoints. Lawyers in training must learn to confront injustice or views they don't agree with and respond as attorneys. But these are a bunch of woke brats. They don't know how to do that. They just simply didn't know how to do that. They didn't want to do that." So Duncan stood and shook. The whole thing was, a wild scene. Now, I bet a lot of you have been through a lot of like e-learning courses for work or whatever the case may be, right? It's pretty easy to make sure that people are forced to, watch the video. It's pretty easy to do that. I think that for me, the fact that the university didn't put that stuff in place, it seems a little concerning. The fact that these were all attorneys in training seems a little concerning.